I think this piece is sort of one of the greatest things in Western civilization.
I love this piece so much.
What did you say?
I said I love this piece so much.
I am glad you do, because it is really amazing. There's so many fun things to work on in it. What I appreciate about these kinds of things, and sort of Beethoven in particular, is, you know, he's always so really specific about what he wants in the music, right? With a lot of earlier composers, we have to guess, and, you know, we cannot exactly, you know, send them a text message or an email. But with him, you know, you have a reasonable idea of what he wants, and I try to sort of obey it as much as I possibly can. For me, what you can do with it, also, I can understand a lot of what you want to do it by your body language. I think that's, you know, in a performance that sort of says a lot about what one does, right? I think a lot of the things you should do with this is more inner than outer, which means that I don't think it should have quite the intensity that you bring to it. I think your intentions are right, but I think it's not this kind of thing. A lot of it sort of burns from the inside. Especially, you know, as you go through the sonata later on, right? Of course, later on this is, I mean, a thing of a person, I think, just about sort of dying, right? And then reviving again. So I think all of that sort of speaks of the whole sort of the concept of the whole thing, right? I would also, and we'll work on this, how to sort of do more things with your fingers and less with the pedal. Okay? And there are endless sort of details and things we can fuss with. I would love to hear the opening again, now that you're sort of more used to your surroundings. It's sort of course, it's not really piano music, right? It's sort of somewhere between a string quartet and a choir. Yeah. Don't you think? Yeah. Yeah. So let's work on that a little bit. I'd love to hear you play that up close again, please. I wouldn't use a soft pedal. Put the pedal down before you start. Yeah. That's very hard to control that. Yeah. What fingering do you use in the right hand? 5/3? I would try 5/2 even. It's a little bit more reliable. And it flows, the sound sort of flows through you. There's no activity or rigidity here at all. Just be upright, just breathe through. So look. And I also listen to the appoggiatura. That's really hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but I've pondered that a lot in my life. But you see about the sound? The sound should tell the story, not you. You're just a messenger. Okay? Try that again. Yeah. I may touch you, forgive me. Up, 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 up. Yes. There we go. If you're this way when you start, you won't have anywhere to go. Here, so that this can release. See? Yes, even more so. Excuse me. Let me just put that down a little bit here. Can you see that? Okay, play for me. Yeah, you see this shouldn't be done. There should be release. Yes. Yes, there we go. And hold it while you do it. Just everything flows through you and then you release.
Okay, but isn't that one connected to this one? Like, same motion?
Well, no, you need to, if this is, you have nowhere to go once you stop it, you see it has to keep and connect. That's right. That's right. Okay. And minimal motion, otherwise there'll be a lot of accents that you don't want. Yeah. Let's do both hands. Watch the sound, please. Go on. Subito? Yes. I need to hear that subito piano there. You know where it is, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's imperative to hear it, and also give time, because this is a very live space. Okay.
I'll try it here.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we can spend a lot of time on that, but I'll just sort of throw a few things at you. One of the difficult things about, especially these late sonatas, is you have to, a lot of them, it's a sort of a combination between things that are very organized and things that are free. And at this moment, there's a period where it sort of breaks into freedom, right? Here, when it sort of stops, and then he often, I think, he questions a lot of things in the sonata. You sort of, and then he sometimes takes you where you don't expect. This is a totally sort of expected thing, but it's very difficult to decide where to wait and where not to wait. So because you have the subito and the fermato, and then, you know, where, and there's another opportunity to wait there, possibly a retard there. Do you see what I mean? So there are plenty of options, so you have to decide, because basically, I mean, that's all it is, and he just fills in the blanks. This has to be beautiful, but I think when you're done, so there's not too much fussing in after the trill for me, but everything you do has to be sort of beautiful and natural, and that just takes a while to work out. So I'll leave you with that. Let's go on from here. This is a beautiful spot. Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, now you have to promise me something, that you're never going to start playing just like that. Remember, every note you play has to have thought. So that when you start, my teacher was very hard on me about that too. Everything you have to think of he used to always say tempo, time, duration. You have to think of the kind of sound you want, how you're going to produce it, the kind of character and the tempo. You couldn't have thought of all of that before you started. Remember, you have to have this is a terribly important thing. You have to immerse yourself, sort of bathe yourself in every sound you make. Otherwise, it's not going to be, you know, if you don't experience it here, the listener certainly will not either. See, remember, you're the messenger of all of this incredible music. That's your prime duty in life, our duty. Okay, try that. So think before you play. Pedal down, focus. Good. Do that again, please. Do that again. Remember that the pedal is vital in this kind of thing. Okay. I'm hearing this here. Do you really want to do that?
Probably not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Remember, this is clean. This music is clean. So that means, especially since there's a slur between the two notes, he very nicely puts that there as a guide. So it's louder, softer, clean pedal, diminuendo, end of first little phraselet. See? Yeah, so, and all of that they want to hear. Try that. Lift. Better. You clearly know that there's a sforzando on that F, right?
Yeah.
And what's before it in terms of the dynamic?
Crescendo, right?
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Now that is not coming through. So what's happening is that sforzando happens too suddenly, and it doesn't have a pleasant sound. Okay. And remember, there may be in this piece a lot of gut-wrenching stuff, I think, in it, but it's never harsh. Never. So you know that when you get used to a piano, you work with that, of course. So that and it's a kind of thing. And if this is not a pretty note on the piano, what you can do is you can balance it out with the left hand. You work at it that way. But this is okay. I think you would just stay too sudden. echo from the door.
What?
That's fine, good. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
If you had to describe that to the listeners, what would you say? What kind of imagery would you use?
Like a waterfall.
Water. Okay, that's good.
Watery. Yeah.
I think that could work. What about something that's maybe not so wet, like wind, maybe, or a breeze, or a branch with things on it? Because he has an instruction there. What is it?
Lightly, leggermente, something like that. Leggero.
Leggermente. Okay, and that's very good. So that part of it is not there when you play it.
Yeah.
And maybe if you think of it as being less watery, that would work. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Why don't you play it without pedal first, please?
Yeah, the problem is just keeping it even. It's hard.
I know. Okay, no. That is very. But we can fix it. We can fix it. Remember, my teacher told me, and I value this very much. He said, in order to be a good pianist, you need two things. You have to be a good detective and a good surgeon. So you have to be the person. The detective part of it needs to find the problem, and the surgeon part of it needs to dissect it and fix it. So saying that is hard is one thing, but then you know, you're a smart man. You need to know how to fix that. So the problem there, of course, is that the thumb's on the black key, isn't that right?
Yes.
And so the crossover part is difficult.
Yes.
So let's do that slowly. I'll show you how to crossover better. Slowly, and don't play before you think, please. Slowly. Good. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what the issue is. You need to read the music a little bit more carefully. He has little dots on all those A flats, right?
There is a dot, yeah.
And so that means...
That means that you don't have to connect these.
It means that you play it short.
Yeah.
And it also means that it probably is going to have a little accent. You're holding it and trying to cross over. That's why it's so difficult. So this is what's happening. And you're stuck.
Yeah.
Stuck. So in that case, there isn't actually going to be a crossover. You're going to move the hand laterally, this way. So you've got this. Look, I'll do slowly. You see, and you just pull your arm gently this way, keeping the hand in the same place, yeah, and keeping your thumb slightly curved to would be not. Take your foot off the pedal, please. Short. Correct. That's right. And that you practice slowly until you with the distances, and then when you go up, this is very gentle. Remember, there's nothing not gentle about this movement. So with this, that's going to be very gentle. And if you use the pedal, it's just going to be very lightly. And then eventually, as there's a crescendo, the pedal will help you so that you build a forte, more or less, but not any kind of intense kind of thing. Remember, it's more inner.
Yeah.
Okay. Try this for me from.
Where is that?
Would you mind playing that slowly for me once? How many parts are there?
I want to say 4, right? Or maybe 3. Well, actually, because it depends on whether you're taking each, as they're like moving in, different voices moving in parallel.
No, it's only 2.
It's only 2?
Yes, you see, if it had been more than 2, he would have the stems in different directions. See, yeah, this is the critical that you, and this is why it's fun to study the score.
Yeah.
Because all of this, because you should know that. So it's really only 2 parts. The difficult thing there is that because it's only 2, it makes the melody over a wide tessitura, see?
Yeah.
So it's not, but, and then of course on the instruments too, that dies so quickly, and then this has to balance with it perfectly. And finally, it's very hard to maintain a perfect balance there. It's a good place to start is with out pedal, that you can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Very difficult, right? Because there has to be, even without pedal, perfect legato, and even here, color. And then, do you want to try this for me?
I'm trying to remember how that part works. Right, so that's, okay, right. Or just start from.
I'd like you to start right there.
Last time too.
That's quite okay. The human body is not a flawless machine.
Yeah.
But it's okay. What's the dynamic there, young man?
The forte, isn't it?
It is. I would say you're a little bit louder down.
Okay.
Remember, the left hand is making quite a racket because it's got more notes than the right hand.
Yeah.
So watch the balance. Just a second, please.
Yeah.
You seem very sure of the character when you get there. Before that, not so much. With all of this stuff, I'm not quite sure what you want to do there. This builds up, right? So
Yeah.
And the appoggiatura thing, it creates a sigh of some kind, right? So and then maybe more on this one. It finishes there, and then a subito piano. It should be sort of, it's uplifting from an inner place somewhere. So all this stuff when you play it needs to be carefully considered, because it's not really piano writing, is it? I mean, that could be a violin or something with broken chords. It's so, when Beethoven had an idea, whatever instrument or whatever he had in his mind at that point, he just wrote it down. It's not like Chopin, who sort of wrote that and it worked gorgeously, right?
Yeah.
That's very important to understand. So that when you play that, you have to think out of the box a lot. Oh lordy, we're running out of time so quickly. In places like this, be very aware of the rests, please. So all of that is important. In the development, which is not, with all due respect, it's not the most interesting page of music that he ever wrote, is it? Mm-hmm. But it's Beethoven, and even if it was by a third level composer, we have to work hard to make it go. It's sort of soft most of the time. I think your inflections are a bit too big. I think it's like a squeeze box. It just sort of goes back and forth. And finally, he arrives at it, right? I think this is one of the most beautiful things in all of music this year. I would love you to try that again, please. And think of something significant when it goes from when the D flat becomes a C sharp. Think of something amazing there. It's sort of like the world changes in an instant.
Yeah.
And then and suddenly, it is unbelievable that a person can think of such a thing. You have to bring that across in a very clear way, says the teacher. But that's very important. You know, you have to understand it on a sort of a black dots on a page level, and then you have to conceptualize it, and then you have to do it, and then you have to bring it over. This is hard. This is the hard part. Okay? Would you like to try that? Can you start there? Yeah. You can do better than that. There's a crescendo in there, right? That's where the sky opens up. Right down. Sorry. And a beautiful, an amazingly beautiful diminuendo there with a perfect legato. Change the pedal, please. Lift. Yeah, that's a fun passage to practice. I think there's so many options. What I want you to do less of in these things, they're a little bit too beaty. We're going to hear that anyway. I think the balance is also off. I think it needs to be more right-hand. And when you get to play, it has to have amazingly clear rhythm. It's a little iffy. Okay. I also think that this change is kind of amazing, even though it's a little strange.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing it nice. I think you could open again. You're in sharps now. Then change the color here. Crescendo. Subito piano. It's just chock full of instructions that we have to try and understand. And what I love about this music is that in the later sonatas, he will often break away and give instructions not only in Italian but in German, right?
Yes.
Which for me means that it was even closer to him since he writes it in his mother tongue, the instructions. Yeah. Because some of the German words don't translate so well to Italian. But a thing like zurückhalten, you know, which means holding back in a different way, just retenente. Okay. But it's that kind of thing. So just to finish the class, I'd love to hear the end of it. By the way, you know, in the original edition, he sort of has an extra note here. Over there. You know that, right? Instead of that, he has this. It even says so here at the bottom. I love that. I think it fills out the harmonies.
Wait, where does it say?
You see here? Look here. It says.
An original C.
Yeah, it's over here. So he adds
a. Oh, okay.
So you can think of that, but when that is done, this time here, then left hand, subito again, new phrase, pretty intense, resolution. But the big thing is sort of like, what? You know, it is, to me, it's an astonishing sort of, you don't know, you know, it is sort of done, but yet it's not. Just play the final bit for us, please. Maybe from here. As beautifully as you can. Left hand. Subito. Yeah, this is not an easy thing to do, but it's a lifetime of work. It's going to be so much fun. Yeah. Thank you. That's one of my favorite things ever. Thank you. Thank you very much.